Hey everybody, welcome. This is Shannon Price, the Mind Mechanic. I'm here to help you navigate your life. Welcome and thanks for tuning into today's podcast. My goal in life is to change the way people see and treat themselves, to educate, empower, and evolve. I've dedicated a huge portion of my life to helping each person become the best version of who they are, one step at a time, and to teach them how to do this continually for the rest of their lives. You and I have one thing in common. We want to constantly improve our lives and be the best version of ourselves. Many people have lived their lives pretty much the same way for a very long time. Stuck. You are capable of making the biggest transformation of your life. You are capable of becoming unstuck. If you consider all the ways we've made ourselves feel stuck, becoming unstuck is just a change in perspective, a change of mindset and behavior. So how would it feel if you couldn't find that feeling of anxiety or fear any longer because you know how to control it and you know how to take charge? What is it that you struggle with internally that causes all that external anxiety and emotion, or those actions that you just wish would stop? I know how to help you. I know how to help you help yourself and make it stop once and for all. So spend a little time with me and learn how to do that for the rest of your life. Today, I'm talking with Molly Camacho. Molly is not only a well-respected friend of mine for at least the last 13 or so years, she's also my physical therapist and has literally saved me many times over those years. Truly, she is the best in the business. We're going to talk today about the stress, the emotions, and all of that stuff that comes with building a blended family. We know it takes patience, work, planning, and love. Hey, Molly, it's so nice to have you on the podcast today. I want to talk to you a little bit about today, your blended family, and what it took to put this all together. So blended families, putting them together emotionally, how exciting was it? How stressful was it? All that kind of stuff.
All right, sounds good.
All right. So I'm going to ask you a few questions because I know our listeners are like, I want to know about this. So number one, who are the members of your blended family?
Okay, so we have myself and then my significant other, Kim. And the three of us we have three boys. So we have Marcus, and he's 15 years old now, and Caleb is 13, and Mason is 11. We've been a blended family for 10 years now, so our kiddos were little when we got together. So yeah, we've had a lot of time to have some ups and downs and learn some things from mistakes and learn what works and learn what doesn't work.
Oh, that's wonderful. I really am curious as to the kids. What was their biggest challenge?
Oh, that's a good one. I would say, coming in, when everybody would ask me, how do the kids get along? I would say they get along like regular brothers. I think like 75 to 80% of the time, they're playing together, having fun, getting along. And then there's that smaller percentage of the time where they're just fighting. They're fighting over toys or just irritating each other, picking on each other, getting on each other's nerves. They have sibling rivalry, just like any siblings do. The difference with us is that my two biological kids, Marcus and Mason, are with us 50% of the time, and Caleb's with us 100% of the time. So there's a little bit of back and forth with when the boys are here and not here. And so sometimes Caleb's kind of like an only child, and sometimes he has an older and a younger brother. So
oh wow.
So yeah, it's just a little bit different on different days of the week.
Oh my goodness. What? So I love when we talk about this at our appointments and stuff, but what's the biggest challenge you face together as a blended family?
Sure. I would say that one of the biggest challenges, there's a lot of them, but one of the biggest ones is co-parenting. So co-parenting, especially early on, co-parenting with a new person. So you're just trying to figure out, what's your parenting style and where do you agree with that other person and where do you disagree and how do you handle that when you disagree with your co-parent. And I mean that's hard with even a traditional family, a non-blended family, to co-parent with another person. It's all the same issues, but with a blended family, you just have it's a new person that you're co-parenting with, and then to add another level of difficulty, you're co-parenting with the other parent, the other biological parent. So,
Oh, yeah.
so for Kim and I, it's our ex-husbands that we're co-parenting with. So instead of co-parenting with one other person, I'm co-parenting with two other people. So it
Right.
just you get more people in the mix, and there's going to be some more conflict and more difficulty and just more work. I need to communicate with both of them, and I can communicate with Kim face to face, and I can communicate with my ex on text or cell phone, and just making sure remembering to do that all the time when it's a new thing can be hard, and remembering to do it, and then just doing it and taking the time. So it's a little extra work, and then especially just more opportunities for there to be some disagreement or just lack of a cohesive decision when it comes to co-parenting with three people
Oh, for
versus
sure.
two.
That's for sure. I can't even imagine. I know that this is so common these days, the blended families and co-parenting with not only your new spouse, but ex-spouses. And you guys seem to do it very cohesively, although I know there are lots of little bitty trials and tribulations that could be, big, turn into big things. Um,
Yeah.
so I would say, I'm going to ask you, what have you learned in the past 10 years? Being a blended family, I just want to know, what are the biggest hurdles you've had to overcome? What have you learned, not only because you have a new spouse and a new family, what have you learned about yourself? And what have you learned about maybe your ex?
Okay. Let me start with just what we've learned is that as a blended family, and this is something we really try to achieve, we are still just a regular family. So we try to balance that, and it's hard. Like, we are a family, and we try to forget sometimes that we are a blended family, but the reality of it is we are a blended family. And so we've learned that it's a little easier to have patience with your biological kids. All kids have strengths and weaknesses and irritating things that they do. And both Kim and I learned, and this probably took quite a while. Like, yeah, you're right. Maybe I am a little harder on my kid that's not my biological kid, my bonus kid, because it's just harder to be patient. Those little irritating things they do just get under your skin a little bit more for some reason, and I don't know if this is something that's just with us or if it's something all blended families experience. But for us, we have a little more patience for our biological kids, and then we tend to be maybe a little less hard on them when it comes to disciplining them or correcting them. And so it was a really big help for Kim and I to just acknowledge that and to admit that, yeah, you're right. If you kind of have, maybe said in the past that you're harder on, your own, my kid than your own kids. And it was a little hard to admit, because we just try to, do a good job of treating everyone fairly and equally. And, I try to treat all three of them like they're my biological children. But, sometimes no matter how hard you try, it can be a challenge. And so when
Right.
we admitted that to ourselves and to each other, it was just like, okay, that's just the way it is. And we can have more empathy for each other that this is just something that happened. So, we can still try our best to be fair and do our best. But mistakes are going to happen, and
Right.
we just have to expect that and learn from the mistakes and just be forgiving.
Yeah, I love that. That's got to be such a crazy thing to have to get used to. But you guys are to me, you guys are very successful at this. And what makes you successful in my eyes is that you talk everything out, and you decide you know what to do together. And if Kim has something she wants to tell you about, well, here's what I don't like that you did with my son.
Yeah.
Just the way you're trying to teach him something, and I'd rather teach him something like this. And so sometimes it's hard to go, oh, well, this is how I've always done it with my
Yeah.
guys, with my kids.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's at the same point where she's like, well, this is how I've always done it with my child. So I love that you guys work this out. I know it can't be easy, but I do know that the kids are better for it because they
Mhm.
see different things and they see different ways of learning.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. Communication is the key, and just keeping open lines of human
Yeah.
communication, and not pointing fingers or blaming, but just say, hey, this is what I noticed, and this is how it makes me feel, and um, what can we do to work through it?
Yeah, it can be so super emotional, and
Yeah.
which is it, if it wasn't, it wouldn't be real.
Yes. Yeah.
What I have to ask you is, when it comes to holidays, when it comes to Christmas or Thanksgiving, things like that, even maybe Halloween, how do you guys do holidays, birthdays, other special occasions? How does that work in your blended family, especially when you want to include the ex spouses, and maybe any of their kids? How does all that work for you guys?
Sure. So we have just in our agreement between myself and my boys' father is that we alternate every other holiday, every other major holiday each year, and then the following year it'll be flip flopped. So, basically, like with Christmas and New Year's, I'll have them on Christmas and he'll have them on New Year's, and then this this past holiday he had them on Christmas and I had them on New Year's. So we just we I thought that we did a good job of making it fair and even, and every other holiday, birthdays were in there. We actually didn't include Halloween, but
Yeah.
Memorial Day and Labor Day weekend. Um, so yes, some holidays we have our whole family of five, and some holidays is just the three of us, and that was really hard at the beginning. Our very first Christmas, my two kiddos were with their dad,
Oh, I
and
bet that was really hard.
it was a very hard day. I actually think I spent a lot of the day in bed. I was just sad and depressed, and just a lot of emotions going on. And it was hard to enjoy the day because it just seemed wrong. It
Right.
just it just didn't seem right to not have them there. It was just quiet. There was less people, and kids especially tend to have a little more energy and excitement. And
Right.
yeah, we had Caleb, which was great, and Kim's parents were with us, but it was a really hard day, and I took my time to be sad about it, but pretty quickly we just learned that the holiday isn't about the date on the calendar, and that's how we deal with it now. It's the holiday is when we choose to celebrate it, and we choose to celebrate holidays on whatever day we're all together. And it might be a week early, it might be a week late, and it's, it's something to look forward to. We just don't make as big a deal about the day on the calendar. It's just about being together.
Oh, I love that. That's so wise. And you know what really struck me that you said is that you took the time to be sad. You took the time to feel what you felt about that first Christmas and not having the kids, and that they were with your ex-husband, their dad. So that is something that is really important to your emotional health, your well-being, is to actually take the time to be sad, take the time to feel those feelings, and then just let that go, and I think that's so helpful to moving ahead. Definitely.
Yeah.
What kind of advice do you have if someone came to you and said, I've been divorced for a couple of years, I met someone, I'm in love with this person, and we're talking about moving in together, maybe getting married, but I've got some kids and she or he has some kids. What's your best advice for starting a blended family? Because there's going to be talk at school, there's going to be talk at work, it's going to be everywhere.
Yeah, I have advice for somebody in that situation, for the whole family, like the kids especially, and then also just for the parents themselves. So for the whole family, what I would recommend anybody that's starting a blended family is get everybody, have a little sit down family meeting.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure that the kids know that love is infinite.
Oh, I love that.
The I think the biggest thing that happens is kids start to worry that, oh, my mom has a new partner, a new child, and they probably don't love me as much.
Right, where do I fit in? Yeah.
Yeah, where do I fit in, and am I still important? Because when things are new, you do tend to there's a little different perspective and maybe a little more attention even on it, and so it's easy for the kids to start feeling like they don't belong and that they aren't as loved. But the good news is, and this might be a good analogy for the kids, love is not pie. I don't have 8 pieces of love that I have to spread out between what used to be 3 people and now it's 4 people. So you get less love now, and you just have to deal with that. Love is infinite, and I love you just as much as I ever did, if not more. And I love all 4 members of my blended family the same amount, and they're all important to me, and I care and love about all of them no matter what. It's unconditional, and it's unlimited, and it may feel a little different at first, but that love is still there, and they're not any less important. And also, I think it's probably another important topic with the whole family to say we're all going to do our best to function as a family and get along, but we're all going to make mistakes, and it's going to happen, and we need to be caring and forgiving, and just have some empathy for each other and communicate like we talked about before, and just learn from the mistakes. But everybody's going to make them. There are going to be some things you try that work and some things that don't work, and just keep moving forward, and learning from the mistakes. So that would be my advice for the whole family, the conversation for both parents to have with all the kids.
Oh, I love that. That it's so true that, especially as a child, and even some adults are going to think you're not going to love me as much because you have these new people in your life that you love. Well, that's not true, because I'm going to love everybody, because I do love everybody. Did the kids have an adjustment period? I'm sure they did, of realizing that they are living together and they are family, they are brothers.
I have to think back now, 10 years.
I know.
I um, it wasn't as noticeable as you would think. I mean, we knew each other for um, like a year prior, and the
Mm,
boys were kind of used to getting together just to hang out as friends and buddies. And
good.
so I don't know if it was that, or if it was just the fact that they were so young. They're just like, okay, sure, yeah, new brother, cool.
Okay,
Let's
good.
get on with this. Yeah.
That's always good. It's
Oh,
it's wonderful that that you guys have taken the steps to ensure that everybody in the family is an equal, and everybody in the family helps each other. And I just love that the kids they're close to the same age, but their ages are so just that much different where they can end up helping each other with different things. Um,
yes.
and they see that you and Kim are the same way. So kudos to you. But what do you have anything about that or something that comes to mind that's really cool?
Um, I guess just going back to the last question, it did occur to me that I think probably the biggest adjustment was for Caleb, um, bringing in two new brothers to his house because Marcus and Mason and I moved in with Kim and Caleb into their house, so it's still kind of their space.
Mm,
And Caleb was very young, but there's still this feeling of, okay, this is my space, these are my toys.
yeah.
And now there's two other kids coming in, and you know how kids are, like, they're most interested in something that somebody else is playing with. And they can be, my kids can be kind of rough with toys. And that if something gets broken, oh my goodness, watch out. You broke a toy that wasn't yours, and that was a hard thing to deal with. The sadness and disappointment on Caleb's end that his toy got broken, and just, I mean, that was hard for Kim too. Like, oh dang, we bought him this, and now it's broken. What are we gonna do about it? And so that was a big that was a big adjustment for the boys. And we had to figure out the rules along the way, like, okay, maybe it's best that there's certain toys that if they're not yours, you just leave them alone. It's not just a free-for-all on you know everybody plays with everything. So
That's a great
um,
idea. Yeah.
yeah, that worked out, that helped. And I guess that was adjustment for all three of them, because Marcus and Mason to had to learn of what even though this is their house and they live in, there's certain things that are kind of off limits. To avoid that conflict was the goal there. So a
I
lot of
love it.
things
Yeah.
are shared, but some things off limits.
You know what? And that teaches them respect anyway. That teaches them lifelong
Yeah,
respect, and think
yeah,
twice before you do something. So they're going to think twice before they pick up that tool. Oh, that's Caleb's. Maybe I should ask him first, or
yes, yeah,
maybe I was
definitely
told not to touch that toy or something. Oh yeah, it'll teach them
getting
respect.
permission.
Yeah, I love it. Oh my gosh, Molly, I think that you are just I love you guys. I just think you guys are so wise. You're so brilliant in putting your family together. And I know that over the years you've had stressors, you've had trials and tribulations, right? But all in all, you guys, you set your boundaries. You set the goal of universal love within your family, no matter if it's the dads that live somewhere else and their kids, and their new
Yeah.
blended families, or right in your house. If everybody could take a page out of your book, everybody would be successful. And it does take learning, and it takes knowing that this is going to happen and that's going to happen, and let's just deal with it when it happens, because once it does happen, we'll know better next time. I'm so excited that I love you, and I'm so excited that I know you and have watched you grow this beautiful blended family over the years.
Well, thank you for those kind words,
You're
and
welcome.
yeah, that does make me feel good. I think we are successful. It's easy to sometimes focus on the things that don't go so well.
Yeah.
Um, but if you really honestly look at the big picture, yeah, we have done a great job. I'm proud of the work we have done and the family that we have created. We've got a great environment for our kids for them to feel loved and safe and supported, so that they can they can grow up to be men that we are proud of, and can
Yeah. And
go out in this world and just be successful and be kind. I think that was
it's
we've
huge.
talked about kindness a lot in our family, and um, you know with other advice, for the co-parenting that I would have for the parents, and this could be a conversation that they could have just between the two of them. You want to get a little bit of a plan on co-parenting and discipline, especially like
Oh, yeah.
how's discipline going to work. There's just so many different options, and you got to choose
Mhm.
what you think makes the most sense.
Yes.
You could just say, I'm going to discipline my biological kids, and you can discipline your biological child, and work that way. There's pros and cons to that. We work together a little bit more. Sometimes in some situations, we leave it to the other parent to discipline their own child. But I think one of the things we agreed with right from the get go is if any of the kids do something that's related to not being kind, kindness is one of our big pillars that we
Yes.
try to emphasize and teach our kids, whether it's being kind to yourself, or being kind to other people, or kind to the things inside of our house.
That's a good point.
The
Yeah.
possessions. Yeah, I mean your own, your bike, your computer. So if in our house, if if I see Caleb doing something that is not kind, then I need to step in right away and say something and do something. And same thing with Kim, vice versa. With my two kids, I think we just kind of have, as parents, co-parents, given each other permission. Like, yeah, immediately, if you witness something like that, and
Yeah.
step in immediately, and have a conversation, or whatever it is, correcting the behavior, or sometimes there might be a consequence for it. So um, that's one that we've agreed upon. And then with other things that maybe aren't related to kindness, it's kind of situation by situation, and we try our best to um, discuss and agree upon a consequence, or some sort of discipline, and then come in as a united front. But sometimes if I'm not home, or if there's only one of us there, you just sometimes just can't wait. The one parent has to make an executive decision
Right.
and do what they think is best. And that's happened several times. And I would say in those situations, uh, there's been situations where I thought, yep, that's perfect. Good job handling that. I don't have any concerns. And there's been other times where I was like, ooh, ooh, that maybe seemed, that consequence was a little harsh, or just the way you handled it seemed a little too harsh, or maybe not harsh enough.
Yeah.
It's just not the way I would have handled it. But it's over. You can't go back and change it, and it's neither one of us want to go back and say, oh, the worst thing you can do is undermine the other
Oh,
parent's
right. That's such a good point.
authority.
Yeah.
Or yeah. So you just have to kind of ride through that, and that's just another opportunity to communicate, maybe, and for future
Right.
instances that come up. So
And I think that the kids learn trust that way. They learn to trust, and they learn to listen, which helps them feel loved, and it makes them feel freedom in their lives to pursue what they want to pursue, like even if it's sports, if it's music, if it's writing, whatever the heck they want to pursue in life, they know that you guys are there to support them 100%. And that if they have questions about things that they're doing throughout their lives or whatever, that they're going to come to you and they're going to trust your judgment.
Right. Yeah, that's the goal. We want to have an open relationship with them now while they're living with us, and then later on when they grow up and move on and have families of their own. So that's what we're the ultimate goal.
Yeah, that's down the road, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it'll be here before we know it, but we still have some time. We still have some years with them here.
Oh my gosh. Well, Molly, thank you for joining me in my Zoom room today for our talk. And I'm so happy that you were able to have the time today to do this. It's a super important topic, and you are very wise about all of it. So what I'd like to do is, if you don't mind, you can let's tell everybody your contact information in case they have questions, or even if they want a new physical therapist, which why wouldn't you want to go to Molly? I mean, I do.
Hey,
So,
yeah.
she's helped me over the last 13 or so years fix things that I can actually move now. And so, Molly, I'd love for you to give some of your contact information, whatever you feel comfortable giving out.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'll give you my email address.
Okay.
So it's my first name, Molly, Molly. P is in Paul, T is in Tom, and then ATC. So Molly, PT, ATC at yahoo.com.
All right.
And yeah, I'm a physical therapist at Performance Therapies in Coralville, and I love what I do. We see all kinds of orthopedic injury rehab, post-surgery, just weekend warriors, aches and pains, whatever you may have. We can help you out just to function better, have less pain, be more active, and just overall, healthier, happier life. And yeah, that's how Shannon and I met.
Yes.
And yeah, it was a long time ago, and it's been so fun just getting to know you and seeing you off and on over the years and keeping in touch. You are an amazing human being.
Oh, thank you.
Love you, and I'm just, thankful that you asked me to come and be on your podcast. I feel like this is like kind of a bucket list thing. Like I listen to a lot of podcasts, and now like. What? I never thought I would be interviewed on one.
Well, I love it. I love you, and I thank you for keeping me mobile all these years. And I'm going to give you my contact details, guys, too. You can reach me through my website at www.spthemindmechanic.com. You can also reach me at Control Fitness, all one word, Control Fitness at AOL.com. That's my main email address. And you can find me all over social media, Shannon Price, also Shannon's Ageless Fitness, also The Mind Mechanic. Listen to my podcasts. You can find them on any of your favorite podcast channels, from Spotify to iTunes, TuneIn, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and wherever you want to listen to podcasts. Even on my website, you just type in Shannon Price, The Mind Mechanic. And I want to thank Molly for joining us today, and I want to thank you for joining us today. So thank you, thank you, thank you.